Yeah, good morning, one and all, and welcome to Teja's classes, CA and CMA Guru. Today, this particular video is about CMA Foundation students who are appearing for either June attempt or December attempt related syllabus. The two we are talking about cost accounting. I think so. Few students don't aware of that. In CMA Foundation, costing is a part of your accounting syllabus, and even the weightage is, if you check with the study material, is around 30 percentage weightage was there. And totally, what are the contents are there? What is the weightage and all these things? First, I will start with. And this particular session is about CMA Foundation students. Now, just listen this particular video and I'm so confident that you can able to attempt your CMA Foundation costing MCQs very comfortably. Okay, got it? So don't worry, just pay attention. And I think so it may not take more than 4 hours, the entire session. So I will try to cover all the parts which is required for your examination part. Sir, the same content we have even in CMA Inter also, but we don't dig that much what is required in CMA Inter level. So for foundation level to solve MCQs, to what extent knowledge is required, to that extent only we are discussing in this particular video. And one more thing, sir, so many students are benefited from that our videos, but the hurting point is they are not subscribing our channel and they are watching the videos. Even if I check with the percentage of people are viewing our channel, 56 percentage only subscribed people are watching our videos, but the 44% without subscribing our channel, they are enjoying the benefits. Sir, if you subscribe, it doesn't make any cost to you, but it will be a great motivating factor for us. At the same time, after watching the particular video, please like the concerned video. So how many likes are there? That much information has been spread to the so many people who are the needy about the concerned content. And one more point, and we already crossed around 2000 subscribers. It's happy to share with you. So last 6 months onwards only we are focusing on YouTube very much, and right now we already crossed 2.7k subscribers. And please like the video, please support us, and we'll try to do more benefit to the student community. Yeah, let's get back to the session. And see, this particular video is about exclusively CMA Foundation students. Sir, I hear from so many students, sir, we are searching in the YouTube, we are not getting anything about CMA Foundation. This is what majorly CMA Foundation students are complaining me. I think so. This particular video will be the solution for so many students who are searching CMA Foundation costing, but this particular video will be the solution. That's the reason only at least our target 100 likes. So how many likes are there? That many people the video will reach. Yes, sir. I'm expecting your immense support. Yes, with your support only we reach it to 2.7k subscribers. So we wanted to achieve so many things. So for that, definitely we need your support. Please like the video. Please subscribe to our channel. Teja's classes for CA and CMA. Yeah, let's back to the point. So already you aware of this. This particular cost accounting consists of 30 marks weightage. If you check with the study material, you come to know this particular patra. And totally, if you understand, here we are discussing Fundamentals of cost accounting. Even I will show you as well as first chapter, meaning, definition, significance of cost accounting, relationship with financial account. The part. Second one is application of cost accounting in cost accounting for business decisions. Third one, definition of cost, cost center, cost unit, and cost drivers. Fourth chapter, classification of cost. Fifth is ascertainment of cost and preparation of statements of cost and profit. Now, if you observe this, even I will show you the same thing as per a CMA syllabus. Once I will show you, then you will get more clarity. Seema, I think so. You are able to see the particular thing. What are the fundamentals of cost accounting? Weightage is how much? 30 marks. See the points what they are covering here. Meaning, definition, significance of cost accounting here, and application of cost accounting for business decisions, as well as definitions, application of cost accounting, classification of cost, ascertainment of cost, preparation of statements towards the cost and profit. That is nothing but cost statements. Even they are focusing on cost accounting standards also. So just numbers they will ask you, nothing else. Don't worry. Okay. Hmm? So I will discuss from my own material, as well as at the same time I try to link up with the study material also. See, sir, fundamentals of cost accounting. First, they are starting with what is the evaluation of cost accounting. And remember this point, sir. The period 1880 to 1925 saw the development of complex product designs and emergence of multi-activity diversified corporations like DuPont, General Motors, etc. CMA here. Development of cost accounting professionals in India. See, in India, prior to independence, there were few cost accountants. They are qualified mainly from ICMA, now CMA, London during the World War II. The need for developing the professionals in the country was felt. The leadership of forming Indian Institute was members, defense services employed at Kolkata. However, with enactment of the Cost and Works of Accountants Act 1959, the Institute of Cost and Works Accountant of India, presently the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, established at Kolkata. The profession assumed further importance in 1968 when the Government of India introduced cost audit under Section 233 of the Companies Act 1956. That is 1956 Companies Act basis. As per the now 2000 Companies Act basis, what is the uh, consent section number? Section 148 cost audit point of. Okay, what is the meaning of cost? What is the meaning of costing? What is the meaning of cost accounting? What is the meaning of cost accountancy? And all these points I will explain you in a detailed manner. So, sir, how to remember these definitions? Very easy, ma. I will tell you simple ways to remember. Cost means what, sir? The amount of expenditure incurred, ORR, attributable for producing a product, ORR, rendering a service. So many people point of view, they feel that cost means only production of goods. No, sir. Cost means not only linking with the production of goods, it will be linked with the services as well as. That's the reason if you want to produce a product or if you want to rendering a service, both the cases we may be convey the amount of expenditure incurred or ORR attributable. So incurred to be incurred, both the things will be taken into account whenever if you want to find out the cost of a particular product point of. So simply what is the meaning of cost? The amount of expenditure incurred to be incurred for producing a product or rendering a service. The services point of view, like example, education sector, if you take, that is not belonging to production of goods. that is talking about rendering of services. So if you want to conduct the sessions, if you want to run the sessions, still you are going to incur the expenditure or not. That's the reason ma always cost means not only production of goods, we will talk about rendering of services as well as. Sir, clear? Okay na? Next, what is the meaning of costing? Simply the process of ascertaining the cost. What is the meaning of costing? The technique and the process of ascertaining the cost. You can add the technique, the technique and the process of ascertaining the cost. This MCQ was asked several times in the examination. Costing. What is the meaning of costing? The technique, the process of ascertaining the cost. Ascertaining means calculating the cost. You maybe call it as what? Costing. Cost means the amount of expenditure incurred or to be incurred. For what purpose? Producing a product or rendering a service. When it comes to costing, the process of ascertainment of cost, the process of ascertainment. Ascertainment of what? Calculation of expenditure. Cost accounting. The cost accounting main purpose is what? Recording of information. So the cost accounting process starts with recording of income and expenditure. When it will start, the recording of income and expenditure. When it will end, ma, preparation of cost statements. Sir, why this mechanism we are following? Ascertainment of cost and controlling of cost. Ascertainment of cost and controlling of cost. This is what the meaning of Nana cost accounting. So it starts with the recognition of income and expenditure and ends with the preparation of periodical statements. This is a periodical statements means nothing but cost statement. You can also call it as periodical statements. Sir, why this entire mechanism, if you ask me? What is the purpose? First one is ascertainment of cost. Second one is what? Controlling the cost. Yama. So cost accounting what? The process of accounting for cost. First, what you can say cost accounting means? The process of accounting for cost. And when it will start? Recording of income and expenditure. When it will ends? At the preparation of periodical statements or cost statement. Why this mechanism we are following for the ascertainment and controlling of cost? Ascertainment of cost, you can also call it as a cost of a product. Cost of a product. The process of accounting for cost, it's begin with or starting with when recording of income and expenditure. When it will ends, the preparation of periodical statement. For a, why this mechanism? To find out a cost of a product. Cost of a product, what we are doing? Ascertainment of cost. Why we want to ascertainment of cost? We want to controlling the cost. That is the reason. Okay, ma. Then next definition, cost accountancy. Here, what we are doing means application of MTP methods, techniques, principles. So what we are doing ma here application of methods, techniques, principles. Sir, why these particular things we are applying? The main purpose is information. Whether you are applying methods, whether you are applying techniques, whether you are applying principles, the main intention is what? Collecting of information. Why you required information? CMA, your course on cost control, management, decision making, ascertainment of profitability. So what we are doing ma application of costing techniques, costing methods, costing principles, we are applying. Why mainly information? Why we want information? Majorly three purposes. What are the three purposes? How to control the cost, how to take the decision making, how to ascertainment of profitability. This entire mechanism, what we are calling it as ma cost accounting, cost accountancy. Quick revision. Cost means the amount of expenditure incurred or are to be incurred. For what purpose? Producing a product or rendering a services. Sir, try to speak with me. Just what I am saying, try to repeat it. You will connected with that. So at the end of the session, I will assure you, you will be perfect with the concerned subject. So one more time. Cost means what? Amount of expenditure. Incurred or to be incurred, yes, both for product or service, both. This concept what we are calling it as cost itself. Second, costing means what? It is a technique of the process of ascertaining the cost. What is the costing mean? The process of calculating the cost, what we are calling it as costing. And the third one is cost accounting. So, what is cost accounting? Here, the process of ascertainment of cost begins with the recognition of what? Income and expenditure. So, when you will end preparation of periodical statement. Periodical statements means nothing but here cost statement. In financial accounting, you will prepare a trading or profit and loss account balance sheet. Like same way, here also we will prepare the cost sheet itself. Okay. In your syllabus, that is also part. We'll discuss about that part also. Cost sheet means what? Why we are preparing the cost sheet and everything. And at the same time, sir, why this mechanism you want to follow? Find out the cost of product. Why you want to find out the cost of a particular product? Because I want to control the cost. Sir, whenever if I know what is the cost I am incurring, then I may be in a position to know how to control the cost. If you don't know what is the cost you are going to incur or what is the cost you incurred, then how to manage your expenditure? Manage your expenditure means what here? How to reduce your expenditure. If you want to reduce your expenditure, you want to control your expenditure. Got it? If you want to apply these things, first of all, you need to know what is the cost you are going to be incurred or incurred. Then the fourth one is what? Cost accountancy. Here, what I am doing? Application of. So, methods, techniques, principles. Why? Information collection. Why I want information? Majorly three purposes. What are the three purposes, sir? How to control the cost, how to take the decision making, and how to find out the profitability of a concerned product. That's what I require. Okay. And the next one, just try to remember. They will ask you which of the following points are not covered under scope of cost accounting. That means what is the scope of cost accounting? You need to know. Scope of cost accounting. So your scope consists of what? First, cost ascertainment. Second, cost bookkeeping. Third, cost control. Fourth, cost reports. Sir, no need to learn anything about these points. Just try to remember the side headings. I told you now, CMA Inter, once again, this chapter you will learn in detail. Not only CMA Inter, even in CA Inter also, you will learn the same chapter. Once again, learn in more depth and more detailed manner. So don't worry. So try to remember the side headings here. What is the scope of cost accounting? They will ask you which of the following points should not be covered under scope of cost accounting. That means first you need to know which are covered under scope of cost accounting. You need to know how to find out the cost ascertainment. Then you need to maintain cost of bookkeeping, the records and all these things, what you are supposed to towards the particular product or service, what are the records supposed to be maintained, then how to control the cost, then finally preparing the report and submitting to the management, and then the management will do the performance evaluation and management will take decision makings from time to time basis. Just try to remember what is the scope of cost accounting. Scope of cost accounting covers 4 points: cost ascertainment, cost bookkeeping, cost control, cost reports itself. That's it. Next, objectives of cost accounting. I told you, try to remember the side headings. More than enough. First side heading, ascertainment of cost. Yeah. Second, determination of selling price. Third one, cost control and cost reduction. Fourth one, ascertainment of profitability. Each one, not overall. Finally, decision making for management. What are the objectives of cost accounting? Ascertainment of cost, determination of selling price, cost control and cost reduction, ascertainment of profitability, decision making for management. Sir, whenever you calculated the cost, immediately our next step is what? Fix the selling price. At the time of fixing the selling price, you may be learn in your economics also. Your selling price will be affected by so many factors: taste and habits, technology, yeah, income of the concerned customer. Yeah, so many things are going to impact your selling price. Any situation, customer, whenever you are selling the product, you never fix your selling price below the cost. Exceptionals are there. One is you already reached break even point. Second one is emergency of cash situation. These are the only two situations you are ready to sell your commodity or product maybe less than the cost. Except that situation, you never sell your products below the cost. Then cost control and cost reduction. Here, try to remember few important points. Cost control is a preventive function. MCQ wise, they are focusing on these points. Cost control is a preventive. Preventive means not to be happen. Cost reduction is a corrective function. Cost control is a preventive function. Cost reduction is a corrective functions. Yeah. And next, cost control will ends targets achieved. But cost reduction point of view, no visible end. Now, once you set the limit, whenever you reached that particular one, controls are done. But when it comes to reduction, there is no visible end. Let's take an example. Suppose you want to celebrate your birthday party. Then your father gave you 1,000 rupees. What is the meaning of that? Whenever you are spending the amount of money for your birthday celebration, the limit set by your father is 1,000 rupees. You are not supposed to cross that particular limit. That's it. Control. That is nothing but cost control. Establish the standard and try to meet the expenditure below that particular limit. So whenever your birthday was done, that part was done. That's the reason targets achieved, then automatically it will end. Reduction means what? So suppose every year birthday celebration is providing you some money. Let's take an example, 2,000 rupees. But like this birthday, he felt that he's providing you a lot of money for your enjoyment part. That's the reason you are not studying properly. That's the reason he realized next time onwards, he don't want to spoil you by providing you a lot of money, whatever the money you want for the celebrations and enjoyment and all these things. That's the reason he don't want to encourage you for any birthday celebrations further onwards. If you want to do only birthday celebration, he's communicating to you, ask your friends to come home, then mom will prepare the food and give the consent party to all your friends. This is what decided by your father. So reduction means, so already by providing lot of pocket money to you, he spoiled your studies. He felt that's the reason he don't want to commit the same mistake once again. That's the reason I mentioned it is a corrective function to do rectifications. We don't want to repeat the same mistakes. This is very, very, very important MCQ. This part. Cost control is a preventive function. Cost reduction is a corrective function. Cost control points of view targets are achieved, done with that. But cost reduction is a never ending process. But at the time of reducing the cost, keep in mind quality of the product. It should not be diluted. And the next ascertainment of profitability. You calculated the cost, you fix the selling price. When further you want to balance your cost wherever possible, controlling wherever possible, reducing. If you balance your control and reduction in the proper manner, then only you will enjoy in the long run profitability part. Sir, whenever you are calculating profits, always try to find out individually. Why means, suppose example, you are doing three businesses. Two businesses are enjoying profit, one business is suffering with loss. Whenever one business is suffering with loss, if you take overall position, which are getting profit, they try to compensate that loss. Then by seeing the overall profit, what you feel that everything is going well within the entity point of view. But whenever you do the profitability statements preparation individually, A business separately, B business separately, C business separately, then which business is suffering with loss, then find out the reasons. Is in your part, is it any possibility to do convert this as a profit making unit? So you try to perform all your aspects what you can do, but after performing that also still you are unable to achieve the concern thing, then you maybe try to discontinue that particular product. But it's sir, if I want to do that kind of things, I want always decision making, sorry, always I want profitability individual basis. Finally, these four parts I am communicating to management. Management will do what they will do here, cost benefit analysis. What is the amount of money I am spending, or what is the amount I am going to spend? If I spend this particular amount, what is the amount I am going to receive? These are all parts will be, they will be evaluated, and they will take the decision making itself. These are all the objectivities of cost accounting. One more time, ascertainment of cost, determination of selling price, cost control and cost reduction, for ascertainment of profitability for each activity, finally decision making for management. This is the areas we are going to cover. Okay, next methods of costing. What is our next part? Methods of costing. First one is job costing, batch costing, third process costing, operating costing, contract costing. Yeah, these are all should be covered under methods of costing. So definitely from this area you are going to get one MCQ ma damn sure. Actually one more also we can say multiple costing. If it is anything combination of more than one method of costing, you can call it as a so method multiple costing. Got it? First job costing means what? Wherever if you are performing any particular things as per the customer request. If you are performing anything as per the customer request, try to remember that is the key word. If you are performing anything as per the customer request, as per customer specification, and no two jobs are alike. Each job wise, you will calculate the cost separately. Yeah, if you are performing any work as per the customer request. That is the key word you try to remember if you want to say that is a job costing. And if you check with one job is not similar with the another job, that means every job is itself is a unique one. And each job wise, we will calculate the cost separately. We will calculate the profit also separately. And they will try to confuse you. And here see contract costing part. Civil engineering and construction work. Civil engineering or construction work. Wherever you are involving these things, you may be go with contract costing. But shipbuilding. Normally, what we feel means shipbuilding, construction partner, and so many people convey that should be covered under contract costing. Oh, except shipbuilding, all other civil engineering and construction, bridges, flyovers, apartments, roads, everything should be covered under contract costing except shipbuilding. This MCQ is also asked several times. Shipbuilding covered under which method of costing? That should be covered under job costing. Why? Shipbuilding means construction of an individual house, that is as per the request of the customer, as per the requirement, or as per the specifications of the customer. That's the reason that should be always covered under job costing. Okay, sir. Wherever costs are accumulated per batches, that should be covered under batch cost. Here, batch point of view, similar club together, you can make it as a batch. Whenever you started calculating the cost, you started accumulating the cost. The accumulation you are doing not individually, you are doing batch basis, that should be covered under batch costing. So similar activities clubbed together, you can call it as a batch itself. Under batch costing, cost per unit calculated by total cost of the batch divided by number of units produced. How to find out the cost per unit in batch costing? No? What is the total cost you incurred in the batch? If it is divided by the number of units produced in that batch, you will get a batch costing point of view, cost per unit. Then operating costing. Wherever only we are talking about services instead of production of goods. That's the reason starting I mentioned you. Sir, costing not always only talk about manufacturing or production parts. It will talk about services as well. As wherever we are talking about instead of production of goods, exclusively services like transportation, insurance, education, hospital, these kind of thing, that should be covered under operating costing. And one more important thing, what is the another name for operating costing is service costing. What is the another name for operating costing? Ma? Service costing. This MCQ also asked several. What is the another name for operating costing? Service costing. Next, process costing. Each stage wise processing, each process cost calculated separately. The main feature is output of one process become the raw material for another process until it become finished good. This is the main feature of process costing. The output of one process become the raw material for another process until it become finished good itself. Clear, sir? Each stage wise processing, process wise cost calculated separately. The output what we are getting in one process, that is the raw material for another process until it become finished good itself. Suppose example, mine is ghee industry. So for someone, milk is the finished product. For who required curd, for them milk is the raw material. Who required buttermilk, for them curd will be the raw material. Who required ghee, butter, for them curd may be the raw material. So if you understand milk to curd, curd to butter, butter to ghee. Are you getting ghee directly or stage by stage you are getting? Stage by stage. These are all covered under process costing. Yeah. So one more time, quick revision. Customer request, job costing. Each similar units clubbed together and making as a computation of cost, batch costing. Stage wise processing, process costing. Services, operating costing. Constructions, contract cost. If any situation, if anything more than one method of costing, that should be covered under multiple costing. I will show you some MC examples also in related to Like this, they may be ask you, they will give you industry and they will ask you which method of costing that was. Got it? And sugar industry, you can't get directly, so processing, toy making, similar units clubbed together, steel or cement, stage by stage processing, bicycle manufacturing. So this is the combination of more than one method. Yeah, steel processing, aircraft manufacturing, multiple printing. And one other best example, one more for job costing is printing, interior, advertisement. These are all covered under job costing. Hospital, service costing, paramedical process, brewers, singular output. See, Ma, this part, this is not covered in study material. What is the meaning of singular output? Average cost per unit will be the base. There must be a mass production, that too homogeneous. Whenever it is satisfying these three things, you can say that is a singular output costing. So many people, single cost means they feel that one unit production. After producing the mass production, mass means bulk production, based on that finding the what is the average cost per unit. That should be covered under singular output costing. Got it, ma? There must be a mass production. There must be a homogeneous production. And because of mass production, I am able to find out average cost per unit. That should be covered under singular output costing. Okay. Canteen, service, house building, Sarsi. This should not be covered under contract costing. So this is shipbuilding, shipbuilding that should be covered under job. Here, house building means apartments. That should be covered under contract. Construction of an individual house always covered under job cost. Transport, service, ready-made garments, batch, soft drinks process, coal, singular output costing, oil refining process, brick kiln, singular output costing, interior decoration, job costing, college service, advertisement job, soap process, electricity supply, operating or service. So read the examples. Na? Foundries, job costing, video or audio manufacturing, multiple costing, subassembling, operating costing, services part. So check with the concern things and based on that compulsory one MCQ they will be generated from this particular audit. Extra cost accounting system consists of so many things. Historical costing, absorption costing, direct costing, standard costing, uniform costing, marginal costing. So cost accounting systems, these are all. So why these systems we drafted means simply these are all types of costing systems. Why? Ascertainment of cost. Historical cost. Whenever if you are talking about already incurred cost, keywords, try to remember the keywords. We are talking about exclusively incurred cost that should be covered under historical costing. Okay, next, under this, only uchi cost means only those costs which vary means change with volume. Which of the cost only vary means change with volume. Those costs only should be taken into account. Like charged to means cost only charged to the product. Like direct material. Yeah, you maybe go with direct labor, variable manufacturing expenses, only charged to the product. Here, which only charged to the product means direct material, direct labor, and variable manufacturing overheads only should be charged to the product. What is overheads? I will let you know. Wait for few more minutes. Only which cost will vary with the volume. That is only should be charged to the product here directly. All indirect portion of things will be transferred to P&L account directly. Only directly variable with the volume of the concerned activity, that cost only should be charged to the products like direct material, direct labor, variable manufacturing. The remaining all indirect portion of expenses should be charged to the only where P&L account. It's extra uniform cost. Entire organization follow same techniques, rules, regulations, then you can say they are following uniform. All organizations, don't use the word entire. All organizations follow same techniques, same principles, same technology. Then you can say they are following uniform cost. Best example for the concern part, uniform costing is Raitu Bazaar. If you check with the Raitu Bazaar, entire market, once 1 kg, one particular product fixed means, entire market, if you search, same price prevailing. That is what the concept of uniform costing. Entire some industries, you cannot call all to some organizations among themselves they agree to follow the same system of costing, same techniques, same technology, same terminology. Whenever they are preparing the concerned cost statement, then you can say they are following uniform cost. So absorption costing here, total cost will be considered. When it comes to marginal costing, total cost splitted into variable cost and fixed cost. Yeah, only variable cost is only taken into decision making point of. That's the reason marginal costing, another name is what, variable costing. What is another name for marginal costing? Ma? Variable costing also. Because in marginal costing, which is only relevant for decision making, variable cost. But when it comes to absorption costing, total cost will be charge to the product based on profit only, they will take the decision making. That is the differentiation between marginal costing and absorption. So in marginal costing, what we will do, we will try to split our total cost into fixed cost and variable cost. I think so. Everybody know what is the meaning of fixed cost and variable cost. Which cost will change according to the level of activity. That is the variable cost. Which is the cost will not change according to the level of activity. You can call it as fixed cost. Fixed cost in total constant per unit variable in nature. Variable cost in total variable per unit constant in nature. MCQ wise, this is also important. More time repeating. Variable cost in total variable per unit constant. Fixed cost in total constant per unit variable in nature. Clear? So, marginal costing, what is another name for marginal costing? Variable costing also. That's it. Okay. So got it, sir. Where you cannot split your cost into fixed and variable cost, that should be covered under absorption costing. One more time. Where you don't want to split your cost into fixed and variable, that should be covered under where? Absorption costing. Where that should be covered? Absorption costing. Where you want to split your cost into fixed and variable, that should be considered as what? So marginal cost. What is another name for marginal costing? Variable costing. Standard costing, you can also call it as predetermined predetermined cost. Very, very, very important MC. What is another name for standard costing? You can also call it as predetermined cost. You will fix the establishment of some benchmarks, add sticks, try to meet the expenditure below that particular limit. So, what is another name for standard costing? Means predetermined cost. This is the best technique used by the entity for cost control point. Which one? Actually, standard costing and budgetary control. Both are the most important techniques used by the entities for the purpose of controlling the cost. The standard costing point of view, one more important thing, you will identify the variances. Variances means difference. What is the predetermined cost? What is the actual cost? The difference. Instead of using the word difference, which word we maybe use? Variance analysis. What is the best technique used for the controlling of the cost? Standard cost. What is the another name for standard costing? Predetermined cost. Sir, am I clear? Once see financial accounting and cost accounting differences. I don't think so. They touch with because these are all 7 marks questions. But this point focus. Stocks are valued at cost or market price, whichever is lower under financial accounting. Under cost accounting, stock is always valued at cost basis only. Okay. So valuation part, the stock is valued at cost or market price, whichever is lower in financial accounting. But when it comes to cost accounting, stock is valued at cost basis only. And financial accounting always deals with facts and figures. Cost accounting partly with facts and partly with estimations will be possible. And everybody knows that financial accounting only monetary, but cost accounting go with non-monetary terms also. And costs are prepared in aggregate basis. Here per unit basis also can be found. That is more than enough to go with this. That is about first unit. Second, application of cost accounting for business decisions. On that area, they don't focus anything, so don't worry. Definition of cost already mentioned. Here, some important points we are discussing. Out of pocket cost. Sir, how to remember this? Simple, ma. Where there is an involvement of cash payment to the other parties. where there is an involvement of cash outflow. One more time, out of pocket cost, where there is an involvement of cash outflow out of the pocket. So cash is going out of the business. These are very much relevant in the decision making. 2 points you need to remember here out of pocket cost point. One is where there is an involvement of cash outflow. The second thing, these are relevant for decision making purposes. You can here see these are the costs which involve actual cash outflow, and these are particularly management decisions. For this opposite is imputed cost, which does not involve any cash outflow. Where there is no involvement of cash outflow, you can call it as imputed cost. And these are also these are similar to opportunity cost. What is the difference between out of pocket cost and imputed cost? In out of pocket cost, there is an involvement of cash outflow was there. There is actually an involvement of cash outflow was there. But when it comes to imputed cost, there is no involvement of cash outflow, but both are relevant for decision making itself. The most wanted one, opportunity, the value of sacrifice made, the benefit of opportunity foregone, and accepting the alternative course of action. In simple terms, the next best alternative. So you may be learning in your economics also opportunity cost. If I am teaching here, I will get per hour 10,000 rupees. So now, if I don't teach here, I maybe teach somewhere else. They offered me 9,000 rupees per hour to selecting 10,000 rupees per hour, which is I sacrificed 9,000 rupees. The next best alternative, in case if I don't choose this one, which one I will choose? 9,001. For me, what is my opportunity cost? If someone asks means I need to say that 9,000. Suppose someone chosen 9,000. If they don't choose that one, they maybe choose 10,000. For them, what is the opportunity cost? 10,000 rupees. That's the reason the sacrifice made by you to choose your alternative, or you can also convey it the next best alternative. You can call it as next best alternative. Next one, sunk cost. This is nothing but historical costs incurred in the past are known as sunk costs. These are irrelevant for decision making. Only 2 points you need to remember. Sunk cost means historical cost. Means in the past incurred cost. Same historical cost also I mentioned the same. Historical cost means incurred in the past. Sunk cost is also nothing but what historical cost. That is nothing but what in the past already we incurred that cost. They are relevant for decision making, irrelevant for decision making. They are not taken into consideration for decision making point. Okay, Ra? So one more points you need to learn, relevant cost to irrelevant cost, because I'm using relevant and irrelevant cost, which are useful for decision making for the purpose of the concerned entity. You may be call them as relevant cost, and which do not affect your decision, are not at all useful for decision making. You may be call them as irrelevant cost. I given some of the examples also already there. Sunk cost to committed cost to allocated overhead. So these are all irrelevant for decision making. But see, marginal cost, opportunity cost, out of pocket cost, these are all relevant for decision. That means these expenses, each management is taken into consideration for the purpose of decision making. Yes, sir, that is relevant cost. These concern things do not taken by the entity for decision making. Yes, sir, they are irrelevant for decision making. Okay, controllable cost to uncontrollable cost. By doing anything, controllable cost to non-controllable cost. By anything managerial action, the cost is controlled by the entity. Yeah, yes, sir, controllable cost. They cannot be in a position to controlled or influenced by managerial actions. Means yes, that should be considered as non-controllable cost. You need to check it only one thing, ma. By doing anything that expenditure has been influenced or controlled by the entity. Yeah. No, sir. Uncontrollable cost or non-controllable. By doing anything, the concerned entity is able to control that expenditure. Yes, sir. That should be considered as a controllable cost. Okay. Next, cost control, cost centers for this. What is the meaning of cost center? Cost center is a location, person, or equipment, or group of these. Then why? For the ascertainment of cost and for the purpose of controlling the. You maybe call them as what? Cost center. Cost center is a location, person, equipment, or group of the above three anything. Sir, why these cost centers? Ascertainment of cost. Why I want to ascertaining the cost? For the purpose of cost control. For the purpose of what? Cost control. These cost centers you may be classified into personal cost centers to impersonal cost centers. Production cost centers to service cost centers you may be classified. Sira, in manufacturing entities, production or service cost center. In other entities point of view, personal cost centers or impersonal cost centers. Personal cost centers means person or group of persons. Impersonal means cost consists of allocation of equipment or group of these. Yeah, production cost center means where raw materials are converted into finished goods. Service cost center means they are providing ancillary. Ancillary means supporting role only. Got it? So cost center part that is only they explained. Cost centers may be of two types: personal and impersonal cost center. Personal cost center consists of person or group of persons, where which are not personal or impersonal cost center. Once again, cost centers classified into broad types: operating cost centers, supporting cost center. That is only I mentioned manufacturing cost centers, service cost centers. So I mentioned. Correct? Cost centers is often referred to as responsibility center. What is the cost centers also referred to as what, Nana? Responsibility center. What is the meaning of cost object? See, remember, costs are often measured in terms of a product, service, a hotel guest salary. These are known as cost object. Simple terminology, I will say here. Where a separate measurement or recognition is required, you can call it as a cost object. Where a separate recognition or measurement is required, you can call it as a cost object. You can call it as a cost object. It may be a product to service, center, activity, customer, distribution of channel, anything, whatever it may be. Where a separate measurement or where a separate recognition for what cost is required, you can call it as a cost object. What you can call it as cost object. Where a separate recognition or where a separate measurement is required, you can call it as a cost object. What is meant by defining as a device for the purpose of breaking up cost into smaller subdivisions attributable to a product or service? You can call it as a cost unit. So whenever, if any purpose of breaking up the cost into smaller subparts or subdivisions for the allocable or attributable to a particular product or service, you may be call them as cost unit. Additional term cost unit as a unit of product or service in relation to which cost are asset. So unit of product or a particular service, particular product to particular service. If you want to calculate the cost individually, that should be covered under what, Nana? Cost unit. One more time. Cost object means what? Where a separate measurement of cost is required, you can call it as a cost object. Total product to total service, like that you may be mentioned. Particular product to service to center to activity, like that. Here a unit of product, a unit of service point of view, if you want to define a cost unit, that should be covered under cost unit. See, sir, a cost unit is a unit of product or a unit of service in relation to which cost are ascertained. Cost unit should be appropriate to the type of business. It is important to note that once costs are traced to cost center, they are further analyzed in order to establish cost per unit itself. Alternatively, some items of cost may be charged directly to cost unit. Example, direct material or direct labor or like that. See my examples. Power is a business. Further, what is the cost unit means? Megawatts or kilowatts, like that. Okay. Cement, then metric ton. Automobile, number of vehicles. Audit form, audit file are chargeable per hour. This is the cost unit. Examples important. Hotel, what is the room day basis? Hospital, patient day basis. Transport, 10 kilometer. Transport of passenger, passenger kilometer. So this is the basis, charge will be there. Our computation of cost will be there. That's the reason we may be call them as cost units itself. Here see power, kilowatt hour, metric ton, number of vehicles, audit files. Cost computation is based on how much it cost, how much you will charge for that service, how many services you are doing, how many audit files you have. To that extent, we are charging like that. The hotel, how many room days you occupied based on that. Hospital, how many patient days. That means how many days the patient was in the hospital. Based on that, we will charge. Transport. So how much tons per how many kilometers I need to travel. Based on that, I will charge. Passenger kilometers. How much kilometer I need to carry the passenger. Based on that, I will charge the passenger kilometer. I am expecting from this area also MCQ wise input. Got it? Next one, definition of cost driver. Simply remember which is the reason for change in the cost of an activity. Simply remember that, nothing else. No other things remember. Cost driver trigger a change in the cost of an activity. Which is the reason for a change in activity? You can call it as a cost driver. See, sir, cost object separate recognition or measurement is required. Cost unit per unit of cost. Cost driver. Which is the reason for change in activity, which is the reason for change in that activity point of view, that maybe you can consider it as cost driver. In detail, once again, you will learn in CRCM. Don't see, sir. This is the activity machine setup. Number of setups. Suppose previously you have 10 setups. Now it was increased to 11 setups. Then automatically your setup cost will change or not. So which is the reason for change in machine setup is setups, number of setups. So that should be considered as cost driver. Same way, ordering cost. It is depending upon number of orders. Suppose previously your orders are 100, you incurred ordering cost of 1000. Now it was increased to 150. It is also will change to 1500, which is the reason for change in ordering cost, number of orders. Then that number of orders, what we are calling it as cost driver itself. Like that, got it, ma? So, which is the reason for change in an activity, you can call it as a cost driver itself. Next, ma, cost allocation means simply try to remember directly with a particular product or department. If you want to charge the cost, that is cost allocation. It cannot be directly charged with identifiable units. They are distributed among the cost center some predetermined basis, that is known as apportionment. So whatever the cost you are incurring, if the cost directly shifted, transferred to that particular product or department or branch or unit, you may be call it as a cost allocation. Simply cost allocation directly transferred to that particular product or service or department or branch. Possible, yes sir, allocation. Then directly you cannot transfer to a product, service, department, or branch. What is required? Some predetermined example. Also, I will tell you rent cost you are incurring. You are unable to transfer the rent cost directly to a particular department. Then what you are doing means floor area basis you are distributing the cost between the concerned department. Are you able to assign the rent cost directly to the department? No, sir. Then what is the basis you are taking for distribution of cost? Floor area. So wherever if you are taking some suitable basis or some proportionate basis, you want to distribute the cost between the concerned departments or branches or products, that is a portion. Directly you are able to transfer to a particular department or cost. One more way, you're transferring lump sum money, that is allocation. If you are transferring proportionate or part by part basis, that is a. Sir, am I clear? Yes. Then ma compulsory read cost accounting standards number name. You are going to see MCQ from that without having any hesitation. Compulsory, you are going to see one MCQ from that particular. Just they will ask you what is the cost accounting standard one name, they may be ask you, or they will give you name and they may be ask you what is the number of that particular standard. This was asking repeatedly in the examination. So compulsory, my sincere advice to all the students, please go through with the cost accounting standard. Number name one, classification, capacity, second, production and operation overheads, cost of production four. So average cost of transportation five, six material cost, seven employee cost, eight utilities, nine packing material, 10 direct expenses, 11 administrative overheads, 12 repairs and maintenance cost, 13 cost of service cost centers, 14 pollution control, 15 selling and distribution, 16 depreciation and amortization, 17 interest and finance charges, 18 research and development costs, 19 joint costs, 20 royalties, 21 I think so quality control cost, 22nd maintenance cost, 23 overburden removal cost, 24 treatment of revenues in cost statement. Damn sure you are going to get one MCQ from this particular area. Sura sir, Paka. Yeah, with this we're done with 3 units. Yama, next part, classifications of cost. This is your fourth unit. So already I told you, I think so. We are expecting 3 to 4 hours. I think so. Before only we can finish. I think so. This particular quick revision will help you a lot in the examination. This is what I'm expecting. Please subscribe to our channel Teja's Classes for C and CMA Guru, and please share the particular video to the friends. Please like the video. Our target is 100 likes. Yes, sir. So we did it because in the particular CMA Foundation exclusively costing point of view, we have very less videos available in the market exclusively in English. Okay, classifications of cost. So based on the nature, how you can classify your expenses. See the CS1 suggests five classification along with sub classification. In that first classification is what? Based on nature. Means material, employee cost, expenses. So material cost means what? For the purpose of production, whatever the cost we are incurring, for doing that service, whatever the material cost we are incurring, that should be considered as material cost. Yeah. So employee costs are considered including the benefits paid or payable to employees for the payment or temporary for the purpose of. So, in case if one person is involved in the production of goods or one person is involved in the providing of services, whatever the amount you will pay to that party, you may be classify it as a employee cost. Next, if it is not a material cost, if it is not an employee cost, then you can consider it as expenses part. But they are related to for the purpose of production of particular product or for providing services of a particular service. So simply whatever the amount you are incurring for material, if it is related to product or service, you need to check. Whatever the amount you are paying in the name of wages, is it relevant to the product or service? Check it. Other than material and labor, employee cost, whatever the expenses you are incurring, check. These things classified cost object basis, direct cost. That is direct material cost, direct employee cost, direct expense. Simply, this is also combiningly these three, we can also call it as prime cost. What we can also call it as the prime cost. All direct portion of expenses clubbed together, what we are calling it as prime. Prime means important. Total cost point of view. These three expenses playing an important role. That's the reason what we are calling it as prime cost. Direct material, which can be identified in the production process, that is direct material. Which of the people directly engaged in the production process, you may be call them as direct employee. Whatever the expenses we are incurring, if they are directly linked with the production and they are traced economically feasible manner, the word is important. Whatever the expenses you are incurring, if it is directly linked with the production, so those expenses will be traced where economically possible. Economically possible, then you may be call them as direct expenses. All direct portion of expenses clubbed together, what we are calling it as prime cost. What we are calling it as prime cost. All indirect portion of expenses clubbed together, we can call it as overheads. This MCQ also asked several times in the examination. So see, overheads. All indirect portion of expenses clubbed together, what we are calling it as overheads. By function basis classification. Production overheads, administrative overheads, selling overheads, distribution overheads, research and development overheads. Manufacturing or production overheads. Whatever the indirect portion of expenses we are incurring, if it is related to factory, that is covered under factory overheads. You can also call it as factory overheads, manufacturing overheads, production overheads, or works overheads also you can. One more time. Indirect portion of expenses incurred for producing a product or rendering a service. Sorry, whatever the indirect expenses we are incurring towards the factory that is covered under factory overheads, like factory supervision, factory rent, plant and machinery depreciation, yeah, these kind of things. Administration overheads. Whatever the indirect portion of expenses we are incurring, if it is the rate that is related to office or administrative purposes, that should be covered under administrative overheads, or you can also convey it as which is not directly relating to the production cost, which is not covered under selling and distribution and research and development cost, that is also should be covered under administrative overhead, which is not a product related cost, which is not related to a research and development cost, which is not a selling and distribution related cost, we can call it as administration. Selling cost for creating demand or stimulate the demand for a particular product. For that, whatever the amount of expenditure you are incurring, you may be call it as a selling overhead. Distribution cost. After you incur the expenditure for making a packing product available for sale, for sending the good to the customer, for delivery of the concerned good, for distribution of the concerned good, whatever the cost we are going to incur, you can call it as distribution cost. Normally, we will say selling and distribution combining. Next, research. If you want to do any new or improvements in the products by the application of new material or new or improved methods, you can call it as research cost. And if you are implementation for decision to produce a new or improved product, to employ a new or improved method till the commencement of the formal production, means before coming for the main production, before that for the implementation of a new product, for the launching of a new product, for the improvement of the existing products point of view, before you are starting the new production or before you are starting the formal means main production, you can call it as a development. Sir, searching for new product, improvement product by application of material or improved methods, that is research cost. Before starting the formal main production of the particular product, whatever the amount for the development, still you didn't launch the product, still you didn't launch the product, before commencement or till the commencement of the main production, whatever the cost you are incurring for the implementation of decisions regarding launching of a new product or improved product, employing or a new or improved methods, for this whatever the cost you are incurring, everything should be covered under based on behavior. Already you know fixed cost, variable cost, semi variable. Semi variable cost consists of both fixed and variable in classification by nature of production are these things: job cost to, batch cost to, contract cost to, process cost to, joint cost. Joint cost means common cost. See that? So this chart, try to remember. Ma. They will ask you MCQs how. They will provide you material, employees, direct expenses. They will give which will covered under which classification: nature, traceability, functional, behavior, operation. What basis? So then try to remember all the concern things. Ma. Then only it is possible for you. Okay. Got it? Nature basis, what you are classifying? Material, employee cost to direct expense. Traceability means direct cost or indirect cost. Functions basis, production overheads, administrative overheads, selling overheads, distribution overheads, research overheads, development overheads. Behavior, fixed cost, variable cost, semi variable cost. Yeah, nature of production or operation, job cost, batch cost, contract cost, process cost, joint cost. Joint cost means two or more products produced simultaneously by using the same material. For that, what is the common cost we incurred, you can call it as a joint cost. Okay, this is about classification. Next, already we discussed the elements: material, indirect labor, indirect labor. direct expenses, indirect expenses, and all indirect portion of expenses overheads. All direct part combiningly, you can call it as prime cost. Already I told. Overheads, production overheads, administrative overheads, selling overhead, distribution overhead. Today we discussed all these points. Then we are moving to the last stage of our revision part of CMA Foundation. So, what is the concept of cost sheet? This cost sheet, also referred as a statement of cost, it is a statement that shows the various components of total cost for a particular product. And finally, you can fix the selling price after deducting a certain profit of percentage to the cost. Yeah. So different components like in the name of material, the name of direct wages, the name of direct expenses, the name of factory overheads, in the name of administrative overheads, the name of selling overheads, like that different components combiningly if you are presenting in a statement of cost, that should be considered as what, Nana? Cost sheet itself. Okay. And this is important. The term conversion cost is used to represent the cost of converting raw material into finished. So conversion cost is sum of direct labor cost, direct expenses, production overhead. Very, very, very important MCQ. Now see here, I will write down this. If it is a prime cost means we will add only direct material plus direct labor plus direct expenses only you will add. If it is a conversion cost means from where you will start direct labor, direct expenses plus production overheads. Combiningly, what we are calling it as conversion. Sir, why you are not including the material cost means after you purchased the raw material, you start converting the raw material into finished. That's the reason in conversion cost, which is the cost is not to be included means direct material cost. Got it, ma? Those two formulas remain. And same way I mention you overheads also indirect material plus indirect labor plus indirect expense. Combiningly, what we are calling it as overheads. Several times asked these as CQs. What are the main advantages of cost sheet or as under? It discloses the total cost. Then we can find out cost per unit of that particular product. It enables manufacturer to keep close watch and control over the cost of production. Whenever you are preparing, step by step calculations will be there. While you are learning the cost sheet format, you come to know why they used the cost of production part separate. By providing comparative study of various elements current cost with the past results, standard cost if possible to find out the causes for variances. So already I told you whenever we are using the standard costing, what is another name for standard costing, sir? Predetermined cost also. Definitely there is a comparison of what is the predetermined cost, what is the actual cost, finding the variances and try to eliminate the adverse factors, and we try to decrease the total cost, or which are the reason for increase in the total cost. If I come to know, based on that, if I avoid those things, my total cost will be reduced, then I can give you a good selling price when compared to competitor. Guide to the manufacturer formulating production policies, fixing the selling price, submit the quotations point of view, it will be. So try to remember these points. Total cost and cost per unit calculation, control over the cost of production, comparative study between standard versus actuals, and production policy framing point of view useful, fixing the selling prices point of view, submitting the quotations point. That is the reason we want to go with the cost sheet. Okay, now, sir. This is the format. If you learn more than enough, I will make it so simple. Don't worry. You maybe learn in your final accounts. Opening stock plus purchases minus purchase returns plus carriage inward minus closing stock. You will get raw material consumed. Same point here also. Sometimes they directly give you direct material. Sometimes they will give you raw material consumed. Then that should be consists of opening stock plus purchases plus carriage inward minus purchase returns minus closing stock. I will get certain. One more time. What is the formula for raw material consumed? Normally opening stock plus purchases minus closing stock. Yeah, minus closing stock. That is only we will use. Sometimes they maybe give you purchase return. Sometimes they will give you carriage inward, carriage on purchases like that. Those adjustments also you will see. Normally raw material consumed means what is the formula you will consider? Opening stock plus purchases during the period minus closing stock raw material consumed you will get. Further, you will add direct wages and direct expenses. What you are getting? Prime cost. Already I told you prime cost means direct material plus direct wages plus direct expenses combined. Sometimes instead of this, we may be go with raw material consumed also. Direct material plus direct wages plus direct expense. Further, if you add factory overheads, what you are getting? Actually gross factory cost you will get. Further, to opening working progress, closing working progress, you will get net factory cost or works cost you come to. So once you got the prime cost, what is the adjustment you are supposed to do? Add factory overheads. See the indirect material, loose tools, indirect wages, factory rent, factory lighting, power and fuel, repairs and maintenance. Should not come here. Research and experiment, depreciation of the plant, insurance of the factory, works manager salary, supervisor salary. These are all things should be covered under factory overheads. I already told you indirect portion of expenses which are belongs to the factory that should be covered under factory overheads. Remember, only will take depreciation of the plant. That means capital expenditure should not be taken into account, like plant to furniture to equipment to land to buildings. These kind of capital expenditures are never allowed to record under caution, but based on matching concept, the expenses in related to that in the name of depreciation. Depreciation on plant and machinery, depreciation of factory building, yeah, depreciation on equipment. Suppose if it is office building covered under administrative overheads. If it is belongs to sales office building, that should be covered under selling and distribution. Only depreciation, revenue nature of expenditures only should be recorded in the cost sheet, but not under capital expenditures. Capital expenditures are not allowed to record under cost sheet. Opening, why we are adding opening and closing working progress? Last year only I started. So some of the goods I converted as a finished goods, I sell it. Among the raw material, some of the goods are I converted in the working progress form. Now I want to convert those working progress forms into finished goods. So which are finished goods converted? They are available for sale. So what is the opening working progress with you? You are supposed to add. What is the closing working progress? That means still that part was not converted as finished good, then they are not available for sale. That's the reason closing working progress we deducted. Then we got the net factory cost or works cost we are getting. Further, we are adding office and administrative overheads like office rent, office salaries, office building, insurance, telephone and postage, printing, depreciation on furniture and office equipment, legal expenses, audit fee, bank charges. By adding all these things, what we are getting? Cost of production. These are direct material, direct wages, direct expenses, combiningly what we are calling it as prime cost. For that, what is the adjustment we are adding? Factory overheads. Then what we are getting? Gross factory cost. For that, what is the adjustment we are supposed to do? Add opening working progress less closing working progress. You will get net factory cost or works cost. For that, you are supposed to add administrative overheads. Then you are getting cost of production. For that, what is the adjustment? Which of the goods already as finished goods? Now this term they want to be available for sale. Those opening goods I am selling. Which of the closing stock of finished goods I want to maintain with me finished goods as a closing stock. Those goods I don't want to sell. That part I want to deduct. Add opening stock of finished goods less closing stock of finished goods to the cost of production. You got cost of goods. For this, add selling and distribution overheads like selling and distribution, showroom rent, salesman salaries, traveling expenses, printing and stationery for sales department, advertisement, postage, collection expenses, carriage outward, depreciation of delivery van, samples and free gifts. So, which of the expenses belongs to the promotion of the product for the distribution of the product? Those are all should be covered under selling and distribution overheads. For cost of goods sold, if you add selling and distribution overheads, then you are getting cost of sales. Everybody intention is profit or loss. Sorry, profit, but finally we'll get the sale. Very important. Which of the following items should not be included in the cost sheet? Just refer once again cost sheet. Prime cost. How to find out the prime cost? Direct material plus direct wages plus direct expenses combiningly prime. Then how to find out gross factory cost? Prime cost, add opening working progress minus closing working progress. Then what you will get? Gross factory. Then how to find out the net factory cost? Gross factory cost, sorry, prime cost plus factory overheads, you will get gross factory. Gross factory cost, add opening working progress less closing working progress, you will get net factory. Then how to find out cost of production? So net factory cost plus administrative overheads. Then what you will get? Cost of production. Then how to find out cost of goods sold? Cost of production plus add opening finished goods less closing finished goods. Then you will get cost of goods. Then how to find out cost of sales? Cost of goods sold plus selling and distribution over. Then how to find out sales? Cost of sales plus profit. Try to remember this. Sir, once see here I will write down how to find out the prime cost. Direct material plus direct wages plus direct expenses. Combiningly, what we are calling it as ma prime cost. Then how to find out the gross factory cost? Equal to prime cost plus factory overheads. Then how to find out the net factory cost or works cost? Gross factory cost, add opening working progress minus closing working progress. Then how to find out cost of production? Net factory cost or works cost plus administrative overheads. Then how to find out cost of goods sold? Cost of production plus add opening stock of finished goods minus closing stock of finished goods. Then cost of sales equal to cost of goods sold plus selling and distribution overhead. Then how to find out sales? Cost of sales plus profit. ORR, cost of sales minus loss. Sir, understand? Try to remember this table. I am measuring you. At least you are able to answer whatever the practical questions they are framing under cost sheet. Trust me, prime cost formula learn separately because in CMA foundation level they are not asking straight away format entire part. Yes, they are going with prime cost. What is the prime cost? What is the gross factory cost? What is the works cost? What is the cost of production? What is cost of goods sold? What is cost of sales? What is sales, like that they are adding. They're asking. Sometimes they will ask you, they will provide you cost of sales and selling and distribution overheads. They will ask you cost of goods sold. So if you aware of this format, trust me, you can answer any MCQ in the examination. Yeah, this is my mark. Yeah, because I'm handling more than 100 plus batches in cost accounting. So that's the reason I made the concern concepts into so simple. Trust me, learn this particular table. You can answer any problematic part. The examination, MCQ, which should not be included in the cost sheet. Income tax, dividends, redemption of debentures, capital losses, interest on loan, donations, capital expenditure, discount on shares, commission to MD, underwriting commission, right of preliminary expenses, bad debts, transfer to profits, share premium, interest on capital, drawings of proprietor, or personal expenses of owner. So simply, these are all purely finance nature of expenses. These are all only covered under financial accounting, but not under cost accounting. All pure financial nature of expenses. These are all, whether you show it in the name of income tax, dividends, redemption of shares, capital losses, donations, interest on loans, interest on capital, drawings, bad debts, preliminary expenses, commission, managing directors commission, yeah, discounts on debentures, so all personal expenses of owners, so everything should be recorded in financial accounting but not under cost accounting point. Yeah, just go through with these points, especially the format. We can answer all the. I will show you recent examination question paper also. You come to know how much you are able to cover from the our discussion part also. You come to know. And one more point, you try to remember. So totally here see responsibility centers. They may be classified into four: cost center, revenue center, profit center, investment center. Among this also they are generating one part. So cost centers major focus is what? Cost. To control the cost. That too they are belongs to revenue expenses only they will. Who will take care about capital expenditure means investment center. Capital expenditure will be take care by this. Normally investment centers not only focus on profits, they will concentrate on investment decisions. They will focus on investment decisions also. They will focus on investment decisions also. Investment decisions means nothing but capital expenditure. Those kind of capital expenditure should not be take care by cost center. Only where it will be take care investments. They are not only focused on profitabilities, they will focus on investments. That means capital expenditure related decisions also will take care by investments. Then profit centers, revenue centers. Normally, revenue centers are only responsible for the revenue. But sometimes, for generation of this revenue, if any expenses linked, they are responsible for only that expenditure. Let's take an example. Sales department is there. They are selling the goods. At the time of selling the goods, they incur certain sales related expenses. So then the sales department not only for the responsibility for the generation of sales revenue, they are also responsible for whatever the selling expenses you incurred for the generation of that expense. Except that expenses, revenue department never be responsible for expenditure. Revenue department only concentration is revenue generation. That's it. Profit centers, they will concentrate on cost as well as revenue. Whenever your revenue dominated, then only you will get profit. Simply example for profit centers is branches. Branch, every branch is responsible for their branch expenditure and their branch revenue and toward the performance of that particular branch or not. That's the reason the best example for profit centers is branches. So that means profit centers are responsible for expenditure part, controlling the expenditure, generation of revenue. Based on that, they are able to generate profits. That's the reason only I said they are responsible for cost part as well as revenue part. That's the reason only you will get profit part. If your revenue is dominated a cost, then only you will get profitability. That's the reason. This point also focus. And when it comes to here, I told you now, try to remember this. This makes a lot of difference in the examination part. Okay, sir. So now we'll solve some questions I imported from the particular things. Will solve the particular things. With this, we'll complete our fast track of CMA Foundation costing part. I told you na, it may not take more than 3 hours. Now we're done with the 2 hours. So still we have maximum I can take 15 minutes to complete the things. So even before exam also, if you spend time and if you read this, if you go through this entire video, more than enough. Sir, don't commit the mistake. Fast forward. Don't see this particular video. See, sir, find out the purchases. Raw material consumed given in the question, closing stock given, opening stock. That's the reason only I sold you in that format. Normally, purchases equal to opening stock. Sorry, raw material consumed equal to opening stock plus purchases minus closings. Then what you will get? Raw material consumed. If you want purchases equal to raw material consumed plus closing stock minus opening stock, that is equal to 26,500 plus 4,500 minus 3,000, that is equal to 28,000 will be the purchase. They will ask you MCQs also like this one. Prime cost 33,500, depreciation 1,500, factory rent is 200% on depreciation 3,000. What is that? How much? 3,000. Find out the factory. Here, do you have any opening and closing working progress? Already I told you. What is the formula for gross factory cost? Prime cost plus factory overheads. Then what is the net factory cost or works cost? Gross factory cost plus opening working progress minus closing working progress. So then you will get works cost. If it was not there in the question, your gross factory cost and works cost or factory cost both are same only. Here, net factory cost equal to 33,500 prime cost plus depreciation 1,500 plus factory rent 3,000. Totally 38,000 will be our net factory cost. Or you can call it as works cost also. Yeah, that's the reason I told you, Nana. Just remember the box what I provided to you. Learn that you can answer any practical questions in the examination towards cost sheet. Cost of sales given in the question, advertisement expenses, discount on sales is 50% on advertisement expenses. Find out cost of goods. Normally, cost of sales equal to cost of goods sold plus selling and distribution overhead. Here, what they given, cost of sales already given, selling and distribution related expenses. What they are asking, cost of goods sold equal to cost of sales minus selling and distribution overhead. That is equal to 37,416 minus selling and distribution. Two things are there: advertisement expenses plus discount on sales. Combiningly 900. 37,416 minus 900, that is equal to 36,516. This is what cost of goods. Then factory cost given 3 lakh 95. Office and administrative overheads is this percentage on factory. Then what they are asking, just simply find out office and administrative overheads. Simply they are percentage. So 3,95,000 into 7.315%. 3,95,000 into 7.315%. That is equal to 28,894.25 rupees. This is office and administrative overhead. This is so simple. See the gross factory cost given, net factory cost given, opening stock of working progress given, find the closing stock of working progress they are asking. Okay, how to find out net factory cost? Gross factory cost, add opening working progress minus closing working progress, you will get the net factory cost. Correct? That means this is given how much? 54,000 given to. This is given how much? 58,000. Plus opening given how much? 8,000. Minus closing working. You move closing working progress that side. 66,000 minus 54,000 net factory. Then what is our closing working progress, ma? 12,000. That's the reason. One more time. Why I'm saying these many times? Remember the box what I told you. Don't want to by head the formula. Step by step learn the concern thing. It's easy to solve the concern things. Okay. Prime cost given. Direct labor cost consists of skilled labor 6,000 and unskilled labor 2,000. Variable works overheads is 100% of direct labor. Fixed works overheads are 60% of direct labor. Sale of scrap is 1,800. Find out the works cost. It's normally gross factory cost or net factory cost, here both same. Why? Opening and closing working progress was not given in the question. So prime cost plus factory overheads, combiningly you will get gross factory cost, that is only net factory. Here factory overheads consists of two things. What are that? Variable works overheads plus fixed works overheads. Now, works overheads, factory overheads, manufacturing overheads, production overheads, all are same only. Okay, don't confuse. Factory overheads, works overheads, yeah, production overheads, manufacturing overheads, all are same only. So this is what they mentioned, 100% on wage. To confuse you, just they provided skilled and unskilled labor separate. but both are covered under employee costing only. So your employee costing is 8,000. On that 100% is variable overheads. On that 60% is fixed overheads. That is what they given in the question. So 8,000 plus 4,800, totally 12,800 is your total factory overheads. What is the prime cost given in the question, ma? 41,000. So prime cost is 41,000 plus factory overheads are 12,800. Total how much we got? 53,800. From this, we are generating 1,800 sale of scrap. So that should be your miscellaneous income. So if it is a miscellaneous income, you have two options. Either reduce it from the cost or you can show it as a miscellaneous income sale of scrap. So what we are doing, we want to reduce our cost of production. That's the reason we want to deduct it from our works cost. That's the reason finally your works cost amount is how much, Nana? 52,000. Yeah, got it. This is the way we are supposed to calculate our consent. Yeah, next. Prepare a statement showing expenses you would disregard in estimating the cost, rent rates, expenses, insurance office, bad debts, discount allowed, bank charges, donations. I told you certain expenses should not be included in while you are preparing the cost sheet. Yeah, among these, if you understand which of the things, bad debts part should be ignored, discount allowed part should be ignored, donations part should be ignored. These are the only expenses should be excluded for the purpose of calculating expenses under cost sheet point of bad debts. Sir, still sale was not made, so there is no concept of bad debts. There is no payments regarding, so there is no concept of discount allowed. So there is no concept of donation. Donations is a financial accounting related one. So these three expenses should be allowed at the time of calculating the cost sheet. Only we will go with rent and rates, and the bank charges part only we will go for it. And bank charges also. Clear, sir? Next month. Prime cost is consists of three things. Sir. What are that? Direct material, direct labor, direct expense. See, ma, your prime cost is equal to direct material plus direct labor plus direct expenses with. If direct expenses are not there, only prime cost consists of these two things. In this direct labor part, they said 70% means your direct material will be automatically 30%, because combiningly your prime cost will be 100%. Sir, one more time. Your prime cost is consists of what? Direct material plus direct labor plus direct expenses. Suppose in the given question, direct expenses are not there. Then what is only should be included? Direct material and direct labor only. Na? So in the given question, they said direct labor is 70% of prime cost. Then automatically what is the balance expenses with you? Direct material. One is 70% means another one is what percentage? 30%. What is the prime cost given in the question? 50,000. On 50,000, if you apply 30% means what is the direct material cost you are going to get? 15,000. That is only they are asking direct material cost. Suppose direct expenses also there. Let's take an example. Direct labor is 10% on prime cost. Direct expenses are 15% on prime cost. They provided in the question. So one is 70%, second one is 15%. Combiningly, both are equal to how much percentage? 85%. Then what is the balance left with you? 15%. That should be considered about direct material cost. Like that you are supposed to do. Clear, sir? Next, direct material given, direct labor given. By adding these two things, what you will get? Prime cost. So prime cost is equal to, here also direct material plus direct labor. That is equal to 80,000 plus 60,000. That is equal to 1 lakh 40. For this prime cost, if you add factory overheads, what you will get? Gross factory. That is equal to 1,40,000 plus factory overheads. How much given in the question? 90. How much you will get? 2,30,000. How to find out the net factory cost, gross factory cost? Add opening working progress minus closing working progress. You will get the net factory. What they are asking? What is a working progress? It's what they mentioned. The cost of goods manufactured is 2,45,000. What they are asking? What is the closing working progress? They are asking. So this is only we are considering as cost of goods manufactured. Works cost means nothing but what? Goods manufactured only. Equal to gross factory cost, you got 2,30,000 plus you have opening working progress of 50 minus closing working. Here fortunately this one is equal to this one. That means your closing working progress here is equal to G. Got it, ma? That's the reason learn step by step format. Don't by heart. Don't by heart. Step by step format. Do it. Got it? So they already given material and labor. By using that, we calculated the prime cost. Then they given factory overheads. By adding that, we got the gross factory cost. So for that, add opening and less closing working progress, you will get net factory cost. But this question point of view, they may be used with another name, cost of goods manufactured. So don't confuse. So net factory cost and cost of goods manufactured both are same here only. So for this question, so finding the closing working progress. Gross first factory cost and opening working progress combiningly, how much we got it? 2,45,000. Cost of goods manufactured also how much given in the question? 2,45,000. Then what is the amount of closing working progress? Zero. That is only we present. Next, finished goods opening inventory given, closing inventory given, cost of goods sold given, cost of production how much there. Normally, cost of goods sold equal to cost of production plus add opening stock of finished goods minus closing stock of finished goods we will write. If you want cost of production means what you will do? Cost of goods sold plus closing finished goods minus opening finished goods, you will get the cost of production. What is the cost of goods sold given in the question? 1,90,000 plus closing finished goods 50,000 minus opening finished goods 30,000. Then finally, what is your cost of production? Factor. Okay. These are the points you need to. And one more point, remember, sometime they will give you opening stock and closing stock units. Then how to do? Suppose example, production, you got 2 lakhs and units produced, they given 10,000. Okay. In that, sale was happened 9,000 units and closing stock of finished goods amount how much they will ask you. For that, first remember sales equal to opening stock of finished goods plus production minus closing stock of finished goods will take. That is the formula for sales. Based on this formula, we will try to find out sometimes opening finished goods missing figure, sometimes closing stock of finished goods may be missing figure. But the most important point here is closing stock of finished goods valued at cost of production per unit basis. Per unit basis, we will do the value. Sir, how to find out cost of production per unit? Total cost of production divided by units produced. How do the valuation of closing stock of finished goods? Ma? Cost of production per unit basis, we will do the production. How to do cost of production per unit means total cost of production divided by number of units produced in that. Then we will get the cost of production per unit. By using that, we will do the valuation of closing stock of finished. This is the way you need to approach the concern. Here, once I will show you the recent examination question, then automatically you will understand what points we covered, how they are approaching in the examination part also you come to. Let's see, ma. This is the December paper. I told you compulsory they go with so in which of the following formulate the cost accounting standards mean the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India. SEMA. Which method of costing appropriate for colleges, service sector, operating costing? The process of assigning whole item of cost. I told you lump sum or directly transferring that should be covered under allocation. Costs are often measured in terms of a product, service, or hotel guest for a service territory. These are known as whenever often measured in terms of a particular product or service. You may be call it as a various separate recognition or measurement is required. You can call it as a cost object. Dash are called irrecoverable cost. That means sunk cost. Whatever the cost you incurred in the past, that is historical cost. They are irrecoverable cost. That's the reason they are irrelevant for decision making. Indirect material cost is a part of works overheads. Correct? Huh? Indirect material, indirect labor, yeah, indirect expenses, consumable stores, depreciation on planted machinery. I showed you examples also that should be covered under factory overheads, works overheads, manufacturing overheads, whatever it. By nature of production, I told you right now only five classifications are there. They will ask you which of the concern things covered under which head. The Jabu, Batchy, contract to process and joint cost. Which year the cost audit was introduced in the Indian Companies Act? I told you 1968 starting only we mentioned about that MCQ. Identify the correct sequence of cost appearing in the cost sheet drafted under the absorption costing technique. Cost of goods sold, works cost, cost of production, prime cost. First, what we are get? Prime cost. After that, only work cost. After that, cost of production. After that, cost of goods sold. After that, cost of sale. That's the reason step by step also I presented in format. From the following factory amount, the asset in the prime cost. Direct material plus direct labor. Yeah. So from the following data, factory asset in the amount of only prime cost they are asking ra. Direct material, direct labor, factory overheads, chargeable expenses means direct expenses. Chargeable expenses means what? Direct expenses. How much percentage they are? 50%. What is direct labor? 20,000. 20,000 point of view, 10%. 50% means how much? 10,000. 20 plus 10, 30. 30 plus 1 lakh 20, 1 lakh 50,000. That was wrong answer presented by someone. 1 lakh 50. Determine the amount of purchases of raw material from the given but raw material consumed given, opening stock given, closing stock given. Only same model we discussed. Which of the following examples of cost driver? Cost driver, which is the reason for change in the cost? Ton, passenger miles per bed, these are all cost units, not cost drivers. Example also we discussed setup cost. CS 14 deals with pollution control. I told you one particular standard number name game will be there. Costing differentiates between the fixed cost and variable cost, marginal cost. This is also I told you where you can't split the cost into fixed and variable, that is absorption costing. Where you can split your cost into fixed and variable, marginal cost. Budgets are financial or quantitative statement prepared and approved prior to a defined period of time. Formal quantification of the plans of the management. Both statements are correct. A budget is a monetary statement. It may expressed in terms of quantitative or qualitative aspects. It may be defined for a future period of time. That's the reason budgets and planning both should be same only. So because these are all plans of whom management. It's the only point you 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14 MCQs, 14 into 2, 28. That's what. Even check with the one more paper. With that, you will get more clarity. There are see more. Cash involves maintenance of records of all costs from their incurrence to their charge to cost center and ultimately to the product and services. That is what we can call it as cost bookkeeping. I told you this MCQ. See the CS719, that is a joint cost. Already I told you one cost accounting standard number, name, game, one MCQ for sure. You are going to see which method of costing is appropriate for advertising. Already I told you wherever customer request was there, that should be covered under job costing. Direct material, direct labor given. If the factory overheads are 50% of direct labor, then what is the factory cost? You know, prime cost plus factory overheads combiningly, if you don't have opening and closing work in progress, that should be covered under factory cost. So 205 plus 232, 430, 437 plus on that 160 here 2 lakh 2 lakh 5,000 plus 2 lakh 32,000 plus 50% means 1 lakh 66 lakh 2 lakh 32,000 into 50%. 1 lakh 16 no? Plus 2 lakh 32,000 plus 2 lakh 5,000. Finally 5 lakh 50. In the context of decision making, those costs are considered to be pertinent. I said relevant cost. Which of the cost should not be considered as pertinent? Irrelevant cost. Which of the following is not part of prime cost? Direct material or direct labor or direct expenses. I told you very important regarding MCQ. Power that should be covered under factory overheads. Appropriate composite unit for the transport sector is per passenger kilometer. Per passenger kilometer, not per passenger per ton per kilometer. Per passenger kilometer. Got it? Next. The number of units produced and sold 16,000. Cost of production given 4 per unit. Selling and distribution overheads are 1 rupee per unit. Selling price is 10 per unit. What they are asking ma profit per unit. Cost of production 4 rupees. Selling and distribution 1 rupee, 5 rupees. Yeah. Then profit per unit is selling price 10. Profit per unit is 5 rupees. Easy one. The costs which are vary disproportionately with the change in the activity level are called behavioral cost. Correct? Which will change according to the disproportionately means that is covered under where behavioral cost point of view. Those costs which vary disproportionately, not proportionately. Actually, that should be covered under fixed cost, which not change. So you maybe go with here behavioral cost is there, variable cost is there, indirect cost is there, semi-variable cost is there. Disproportionately. Proportionately means variable cost. And which will change not at all proportionately change means that is a fixed cost. Which is not respond, that is fixed cost. Which is the cost where means change. Proportionately is variable. Disproportionately is semi-variable. Okay? The cost of common resources used for producing two or more products, joint cost. Which of the following is the classification of cost by traceability? I told you five classification compulsory one part. Here actually two MCQs asked from the same area. Joint cost that should be operation and process point of view. Now traceability point of view, direct and indirect. Variable costs are fixed. I told you even in MCQ while I am discussing my Martha. Super fast revision. So per unit. Constant per unit. Total invariable. Total is variable. Per unit is constant. Fixed in total constant. Per unit variable in nature. Which of the following is included in the final account but not in cost account? Dividend paid, interest on loan, bad debts. All are should not be included. Only they included in finance but not in cost sheet. Gross factory cost, net factory cost, opening working progress determine. Only we did the based on the same. Interest on capital to owners is a notional cost. should not be included in the sheet. Okay, yes, sir. And one more paper if you want for your clarification. 12 into 2, 24 minimum you are able to. CIRA 86 onwards they provided. CA 7 deals with, yeah, employee cost. Which method of costing is appropriate for paramedical industries? Process costing. Process, not contract. In case of dash costing, the main objective is ascertainment of costs that have been incurred in the past, that is historical cost. Which is the appropriate cost unit for cement industry? Cement industry, metric tons. Cement industry, metric tons. So, or ton, you can kilometers, ton kilometers is for passenger kilometer, that is weight point of view, transport business, not cement industry. So, metric tons. Dash is a device for the purpose of breaking up the cost into smaller subdivisions. You can call it as a cost unit. You can call it as a cost unit. Already I discussed that also. Which of the following is a CSAR? Once again, functions basis. This bit repeatedly they are asking. That's the reason. Just listen my session. You will get at least 20, 12, 20, 14 MCQs. 14 into 2, 28 marks. Easily you can secure, sir. Trust me. Next, cost accounting standards are issued by the Institute of Cost Accountants. So once again, see problematic. Cost of goods sold given, cost of production given, opening inventory given. They are asking you closing inventory. That is our last MCQ what we discussed from our marathon. Dash overheads are cost incurred in handling a product or services from the time is ready for dispatch for delivery until it reaches to the ultimate customer. That is distribution overheads. Delivery of goods is distribution overhead. So, hypothetical or notional cost. Notional cost is what? Imputed cost doesn't involve any cost. Dash cost are by nature hypothetical or notional cost. Notional means doesn't incur, that is imputed cost. Where there is no involvement of cost, that is imputed, already I discussed. Chargeable expenses are also known as direct expenses. Dash is the value of the best alternative cost of caution, opportunity cost. Batch costing is followed by toy manufacturing entities. Variable costs are fixed per unit. These are many times they are asking at you that part. Direct material, direct wages are given. Factory overheads are 60% of direct wages. What is the factory cost? See, that's the reason, ma. With this, we'll completed our marathon part. Even I covered the last three examination questions also. Everything what I discussed you saw in the examination. That's what I told you. Trust me. So based on my 100 batches of experience, I'm communicating. Sir, we spend lot of time to do these particular things with you. So from your end, just expecting little encouragement. Just like the video and please comment if you like that particular video. And with this particular one, just spend 2.5 hours with me. You will get 28 of 28 or at least 20 minimum you can secure from this particular 2.5 hours session. Just by spending 2.5 hours, easily you can get more than 20 marks. Trust me, guys. And I proved it also by showing the past examination questions. What I discussed, that is the only part you saw in the exam. Got it? So I hope so. You enjoy. And one more time, please subscribe to our channel Teja's Classes for CA and CMA. And please communicate this particular video to all the CMA Foundation community who are writing examination in June the next week. With this video, so many people will be benefited. So I am pakka confident what I discussed you will see in the exam. Yes, sir. Bye. Have a nice day.